Hi besties, come make my family's iftar meal with me. This is what my iftar menu today looks like, and for reference, iftar is the meal we eat when we break our fast. It's another lazy day for me, so I wanted to do something very simple. My husband has been wanting something that has yam in it, and so I just had to. You guys already know I always start off by playing a show to keep me entertained, and then I love to gather everything that I'll be using to cook to make the cooking process easy. First things first, I always boil water in my electric kettle so I can have hot water on hand at all times. The next thing I did was wash and season my mackerel. You guys already know that with my recipes, I don't give specific seasonings. I always tell you, play around with your seasoning, whatever you like, add to your meals. It won't change the taste of your food, trust me. I use salt, cayenne pepper, ginger, and garlic powder. Then I went ahead to roast my mackerel in my air fryer. After that, I cut up my yams into small chunks, washed it thoroughly to get all the sand out, and then I set it aside. After that, I go into prepping my pepper mix for it to be chopped. Many of you have noticed and asked why I don't use tomatoes to cook. It's just a personal preference. I do not care much for tomatoes. I love all my stew base to be thick, and the only way to get a thick consistency is by avoiding tomatoes. Chopped up my onions, and in my pot I added palm oil and poured the onions into it. Let that cook down before adding my pepper mix into it. Added some salt, some beef bouillon powder, and crayfish. Checked up on my fish and it was already roasted, so I added it to my pepper mix so everything can cook together. I allowed this properly fry for about 5 minutes before taking all the fish out. And as you can see, my fish is properly coated in the sauce. Added some hot water to the stew base, covered that up to boil, and when it came to a boil, I poured my yams into it. You want to stir that properly and then cover it to cook while you can do other things. I quickly remembered to preheat my oven because I'll be baking something simple today. I had some corned beef left in the fridge and I didn't want it to go to waste. I decided to make some sausage rolls. In my clean mixing bowl, I added 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of cold butter, 1 large eggs, and then I mixed that until I get this breadcrumb consistency. Slowly added cold water to it until I had a dough that looked like this. I dusted my board with some flour and then I proceeded to roll out my dough. Make sure to roll your dough as thin and smooth as possible. Always remember to flip it to the other side to get the most smoothest part. After that, I cut it into a square shape, put my corned beef in the middle and gave it an egg wash on the side. After egg washing it, I flipped it over and rolled it like this, and then I cut it into smaller shapes as you can see. Gave it a final egg wash and it was ready to go in the oven. I baked at 375 degrees for about 40 minutes. At that point, my yam was properly cooked and soft, so I go ahead to mash it up. I did not have any mint leaf left in the house, so I used spinach for my porridge. And then I covered it to simmer some more for the oil to come to the top. Next thing I made was my mocktail. I used orange slices on the tip of my cup and then I rolled it in sugar. Added some blueberries into my glass cup and mashed it up. Squeezed some of those orange juice into the cup. Added some lemon juice before topping it with ice. A little bit of blueberry syrup with some mojito syrup as well. Honestly, even if you don't have all the syrup, your mocktail is still going to taste good. Because it's a citrus blast, I used Fanta instead of Sprite. Garnished it with some cherries and this is what we have. Before I knew it, my sausage roll was properly baked. I brought it out of the oven and look at this beauty. I cut into it and this is what we have. I also dished up my yam porridge with mackerel. And before you know it, our meal was ready in no time. That's it, besties. Bye.